What's your name again?
Rod.
Rod. Go ahead.
Imagine a world, imagine a universe with no suffering. No suffering at all. The question is whether man would need God.
That's my answer. That's my official answer.
And man invented God, but God exists.
Okay, may I respond? First of all, there's a lot of, listen, I talked to you before. So a little bit I got you figured out. There's a supposition here, first of all. There's an opinion. Second of all, there's a very big difference between a perfect universe and perfect living beings. I understand that science sees it as a continuum. Physics, chemistry, biology. I don't. Maybe there's the microorganisms, but when you reach levels of intelligence, even amongst animals, and certainly amongst people, there is, to quote quantum physics, a quantum separation. And to see the exactness in the universe as a simile, as a philosophical basis for exactness amongst human beings, is a leap of faith. It's a simplism. I think it's a little bit simplifying, in my view. Physics can be orderly. We believe in a soul. We don't believe that organisms are simply an arrangement of physical components with electricity to create chemical bonds that become more complicated to create living beings that procreate and reason. A human being is a piece of God. It's a whole nother being. It's the same universe, but it's a very different level. And
Isn't the universe
so
a piece of God?
yeah, but it's a simpler piece. It's much easier for it to be orderly. As massive as the universe is, it's not a continuum. There's a lot of significant breaks in the evolution from physical to chemical to biological to human. And for a human being to figure himself out, and that's the problem with us. We were cursed with the blessing of free will. And to achieve perfection in ourselves is so much more complicated than it is in the world. It's reasonable. It's entirely reasonable that in the perfect universe, creatures as sophisticated and as deep and as spiritual as us should struggle with peace, with perfection. But let me move on. Let me move on to the answer to your question. If there was a universe where human beings were perfect, there are only a few possibilities. One is we would be robots. We would really not be human. We really would not have choices. There is no phenomena of choice without the right to make a mistake. Can't be. So there could be a perfect universe. I'm not sure I want to live in it. That's option one. The other option, this is what I tell my teenage kids. What would happen if everybody in the world had everything? Health and wealth. What would happen if nobody was lacking for anything? So, it would be such a wonderful world. I'll tell you what would happen. There would be so much jealousy. There would be so much jealousy. We'd be eating up each other alive. I tell my teenage students, because they don't argue with me, so I can afford to tell them this. I promise you, the day human beings figure out how to do the right thing without necessity, you work because you need money. You didn't work, you sit on the couch and become fat. Only little kids don't sit still. The day human beings are self-motivated to be righteous without an extraneous motivation, I give you my word, there's no suffering in the universe. The suffering in the universe is the source of all the kindness. The suffering of the universe is the source of all the empathy. The sensitivity of the universe is the source of all the complexity of what makes us human. You take those things away, we will be animals. And we're very sophisticated. So we will out-animal any animal. So wait, what I'm trying to tell you is, the degree to which you and I disagree is beyond your fathoming.
No, actually, you probably agree more so than you.
So then I object to this idea that the quote perfect universe should amount to perfect human beings. I just have an issue with it.
If the whole universe is perfect,
And that's a big if. It's an if.
it's an if, and humans are part of the universe, therefore, through simple logic, humans are perfect.
See, but this is where you and I disagree. We went in a circle just now.
There's a big step. It's a wrong
make such corollary.
altogether.
And I would make another statement. Human beings are in the universe. They're not a part of it. We're in the universe. My father, so live and be well, is a very interesting man. I've never met a more individual thinker than my father. Born and bred and brainwashed in Chabad. But he's really, he thinks for himself. And he always tells me, every human being is a representation of God in the world.
Exactly.
It's from outside the universe, in the universe. And it's complicated. It's terribly self-serving to say, it's kind of difficult to be God. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of difficult to be God. We make mistakes.
Madam, you have a question?
We are God.
No.
Okay.